Welcome back to a Casual Conversations Christmas live in my lounge because it is way too cold outside to be filming.
I would have done it if I had to.
We would have sucked it up, but why?
The last time we did it really cold is when we did our Jeff video.
Remember? Yes, it was free. It was probably about this time last year. The cold came in early to Texas this year, which is quite annoying. So
way too hot.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. She's only going to take about 3 sips this entire episode anyway, but she just likes to have the coffee.
Look how cute they are.
Yeah, we were. I think
Christmas mugs.
I figured if we're gonna go Christmas, we might as well go all the way Christmas.
Well, I wish you could see their house. It's amazing.
We'll post a video. Maybe what we'll do is we'll have Amber post a video for the Casual Conversations. As you know, we do a big Christmas. Actually, I don't know if you guys know, but we do a huge Christmas party for all of our friends every year.
Yeah.
It's something that my wife and I hold very dear to our heart. It's our way of saying Merry Christmas and thanking our family and friends for being a part of our life. And we just enjoy Christmas overall. My wife goes overboard every year on the house. She loves to decorate and makes our house so warm. So she makes
their house a home.
We do love to show it off. So we will post a video pre-game because we're not.
You have to with the amount of work. Like she was just talking about. I can't say it. Well,
she puts a lot of work into it.
Because I don't want to ruin the
you can't say anything about that.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Elena and Amber are getting the sneak peek of. We have our parties tomorrow night, by the way.
Yeah.
So she's getting the sneak peek of the behind the scenes workings that make this party.
I'm gonna go post it on my profile right now. My status right now.
Really upset Allison.
He wouldn't talk to me for weeks.
Yeah. So anyway, here to catch up. How has everything been going in your world?
Well, I don't care about my world. I care about your world. You just got back. He just did the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. Mm-hmm. His daughter was cheerleading in it.
She was, super proud. Was a great experience, honestly. Super cold.
Yeah.
So it was actually pretty decent weather overall until the Thanksgiving Day parade. I will say, kind of hard to complain because the year before they got torrential downpour.
Oh.
So those poor girls that had looked forward to this experience for, their high school career. Some girls only get to go once. My daughter will probably only go once because it's an expensive trip. We were blessed to be able to do it for her and her to get that experience. But overall, she didn't get rained on. So they had dry weather at least. It was just chilly. Well, what I didn't know about the Macy's Day Parade was how early you have to get out there to stake a spot. So you got 8 million people in Manhattan or New York, and the majority of them are in the Manhattan area. And then you have all the tourists that come in for the Macy's Day Parade. So it's insane. And we got out there at 5:30 in the morning thinking we were golden based on some of the advice we had gotten from just some of the locals. Like, 5:36, you're fine. There was people out there at 3:30 in the morning. Starts at 8:30.
No.
So you're out there.
You're a good parent.
Yeah.
I told Chris, I was like, they are great parents because I probably would not have done that. First of all, I hate being cold.
I do too. And we had the warmers. We weren't smart enough. We should have brought more warmers. Thankfully, we were underprepared. We did okay.
Yeah.
Could have been a lot warmer. Another 10 degrees of more warmers. I could have got the feet warmer at the house. And if we ever do this experience again, which we probably won't because I don't like the fact of having to get up 3 hours before the thing started.
And then you sit there for how many hours?
Well, it's about an hour and a half total parade.
Okay.
Yeah. So the good thing is we were near the start. So Central Park is where it starts. And then it works its way into the city. What we liked about Central Park was once it kind of passes you, you have room to kind of escape.
That's perfect.
If you're in the city area, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for people because once you're in that spot, you better not have to go to the bathroom because you're not getting back in.
That's what I talked to Chris. I'm like, I'm at an age where if I can't, Cole and I don't really do concerts because if I can't go to the bathroom, if I have to lose my spot to go to the bathroom, or I have to stand in line for 20 minutes to go to the bathroom, or if I'm hungry and I got to go stand in line for 30 minutes to get food, I'm like, I'm just out.
Yeah. It was those points. So Allison would not let me have any coffee. She's like, you're not having any coffee.
So you're not having any coffee. To the bathroom.
Yeah. And I'm like, Allison, I'm so concentrated on the cold right now. Trust me, I'm not focusing on using the restroom, but it is a nightmare because one poor lady had to take her kid out. And I felt so bad because I'm like, it is going to be a nightmare for her to try to get back into our spot because it is jam packed.
Did they make it back?
They did,
but
it was, she had to people had to try to move out of the way. It probably took her, I'm no exaggeration, 20 minutes plus to go half a block to get to her spot because of just trying to zigzag through people and people lifting up chairs. I mean, you are packed in.
Yeah.
So there's no COVID restrictions up there anymore, apparently, with
the way it was.
Yeah. Because then you go to the subways and you see all the stickers still from the social distancing from COVID. And then you get they jam pack you like sardines for the parade. But she had an amazing experience. She got to see a lot of celebrities because she was in the parade.
Oh, cool. Which
They were.
ones did she see?
She saw Buster Rhymes.
Yeah.
She's met. Gosh, what's the old '90s? My God, why am I drawing? Jewel. She met Jewel.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. That was my era.
Yeah.
Jewel. A couple people from like the Broadway shows were there that she knew. And there was someone else that she. Gosh, who was it? It was a guy I don't even know, a younger artist. I'll come back to,
but she got to meet so many cool people.
Yeah, she was in the parade with them, so they all got to walk by. Oh, she got to meet Al Roker from the Today Show. So Al Roker, when I was up there, she got to meet them. She got interviewed for the news.
Yeah,
the local news up there. So she actually got picked to be interviewed, which was pretty cool. And then she just had an amazing experience with her friends, and she got to bond with her friends. And Allison and I got a kind of a husband and wife little mini trip together because we really only saw her.
She had to stay with the girls, right?
Correct. Yeah. So we only saw her really in the evenings. We took her to dinner one night when they had a free evening, and then we took her and her friends out for Thanksgiving dinner, which was really sweet, and great girls. And their parents entrusted us to take them out and enjoy a Thanksgiving dinner with their girls, which we took that very seriously.
Did you have like the traditional Thanksgiving dinner where you went, or you guys just?
They offered it. They didn't do that though. That was one of the options you can do. But it was a great time, and I'm glad we got the experience, and it was cool to see the Macy's Day Parade. It's definitely something I could say a box I can check, and was ready to get home.
Right.
Oh,
I'm sure.
But,
I was just talking about a client to a client this morning because they just went on a cruise. They're retired and they went on a 30-day cruise all throughout Europe and everything. And I was like, well, what was your favorite part? They're like, probably being in our own bed after the cruise. They're like, no, we enjoyed it. But it's just, the worst part is traveling home.
Well, there's something about home, right? Just like I said, and I've traveled a lot through the year just for my work, so travel is something that we do a lot of. And then you tackle that with how much work travel I did. It was definitely a lot. I'm glad for December I'm home. So I'm going to enjoy the end of the year. How was your Thanksgiving?
It's good. We did our typical lake. I'd say my highlight was craft day, usually as it is with my son.
Yeah.
Did you see the snowman?
I did. Yeah, it looked good.
I was so proud of that. Yeah. That's how I pictured it in my head, and somehow it came out on the thing.
Yeah, it looked great.
So what we did was this year, I try to do themes every year for my son, and we usually do the craft that I can hang on my wall because I always picture being 60 years old, having my grandchildren over, and they pointed to him like, your dad made that when he was your age. Like it'd be so cool, and then we do an ornament. So we didn't have time to do the ornaments, but we did other little crafts. Like we did a socks snowman. But anyways, we did a snowman this year, a snowman theme. And so he ripped up pieces of paper. He walked with Papa and found sticks at the lake to use for the arms. He found the rocks for the arms, and then he glued on the little pieces all by himself.
Nice.
So I just kind of helped him picture it, but he placed them all.
That's awesome.
So
yeah, it turned out great.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it is funny. Like, and you're absolutely right. Like, it's cool when the kids have their kids, and then they come see the stuff their parents did. It's pretty cool. So awesome. I mean, that's the main reason why she loves the scrapbooks, right? The scrapbooks is more for our grandkids and our great grandkids, so they can see how their parents grew up, right? So
that's kind of wild, when I look back and I show Kian pictures of me when I was his age, and he's like, that was you, Mommy? I go, yeah, and you look like Mommy. Yeah. Everybody says he looks like Cole, but when I was a little girl, he has a lot of my similarities.
I think he's a good mix of both you guys. I think what sets him is the eyes, right? So he's got, Dylan's the same way. It's like Dylan has actually a lot of Allison's features. Yeah. He has my eyes, which makes you think, okay, you look like this, you're the other person, right? So, yeah. But anyway, a great Thanksgiving. I know we got Christmas to look forward to, as you can see. Yeah. And I thought, one of the things that we would talk about is just a reflection of this year. I know we talk a lot about our goal setting, and we talk a lot about things that you and I struggle with personally. We try to be vulnerable for everyone that listens to us, so they know that they're not on an island by themselves. Yeah. And I think we also discuss that it's very easy to not remember what you've accomplished throughout the year, right? A lot of things happen throughout the course of a year, and we typically go to the things that didn't happen, or goals that we didn't hit, or we look at the things that didn't happen for us instead of being grateful for the things that did work out for us, right? And I just thought this would be a good episode to kind of recap some things that you thought were a huge success for you this year, or maybe things that you didn't even expect to be a success or on your radar. That turned on to a success.
I think my most major success, honestly, would be being able to get to a point in my business where I can work with my husband.
Yeah.
Honestly. I know a lot of people think we're crazy for it, but I know who he and I are. And I've been asking him to be in real estate literally since we moved to Texas. So it's kind of surreal, but at the same time, not to be cheesy, but like a dream come true to me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we're going to be way more in sync now. Because when we first moved here and he was coaching, I was doing real estate. I mean, we never saw each other. I was coming home, he was out the door, not coming home till 10:30. And even when he was working in the corporate world, I mean, he didn't get to be as involved with Kian during the week. Like he never got to do watch jujitsu with Kian, you know? I was always the one dropping Kian off, picking him up, and I was more heavily involved. And just in the short, what has it been? 2 months that he and I have been on the same schedule. Like, I know it sounds silly, and in the evening when Kian sits to watch his cartoons with us, it's always mommy, mommy, mommy. He's on mommy's hip. He wants to cuddle mommy. But lately he's been like, I'm going to go cuddle daddy now because he's getting more of that connection with his dad, So I'm going to get emotional about it because I just love my family. I was telling Cole last night, I was like, I'm the type I could just hang out, me, you, and Kian, and I'm happy. Like, that's all I care about. And so anyways, I would say that's my biggest accomplishment this year.
That's fantastic. And I think, it doesn't work for everybody. I think I agree. I think knowing you're in Cole's dynamic, you guys are going to be a great team, and you guys make a great team because he's the support system that you need, right? I think he's a coach. He was a coach for a long time. We've probably discussed this before. Stud soccer player for many years, but he coached soccer for multiple years and at the collegiate level. So he knows how to coach. He knows how to uplift people. He knows how to get the best out of people as well. And, so I think Elena needs that because I think Elena gets in her own head, and she says it all the time. In the last episode, she made a comment that she has trouble accepting success. And she has trouble thinking that she's deserving of what she's worked for. And I think that you got to let that stuff go because we're all critical of ourselves for the things that we don't do. We can't be critical of ourselves when we get to success level, when we did all the work for it.
Right.
That's the reason why you work so hard. And you can't feel bad about what you've accomplished when you're putting in the work that others just aren't willing to do. And when you let that weight go, you're going to blossom even further than you have over the last 12 months. But back to the family unit, it's so critical because when the family is right, and I think it just highlights, it highlights that those traditional values, and you could still have a driven wife. You don't have to have the traditional, the man goes to work and the woman stays home. You could still have the male working and the female working, and you could have the mom that still wants to be the super mom like Elena, but still driven to be successful in a career and wants to do more and wants to contribute more, but still have those traditional values of the family unit, and realizing how critical it is to have the dad and the mom in the kid in the kid's life. And that's one of the things that Allison and I were non-negotiable. We were never going to sacrifice that. And whatever career I chose, I was going to be a part of my kid's life. You talked about the Macy's Day Parade. And a lot of people were like, I can't believe you would do that. When am I ever going to have that moment again?
Exactly.
So I sacrifice sleep. I sacrifice being cold, but I'm not going to sacrifice being there to support my kid.
Because you'll never get that back.
Correct. And my daughter is going to look back on one of these days, and I hope, and I know that they will. She appreciates it now. I think when she becomes an adult, and she and my son as well, when they become adults and they raise their own families and they start having kids and they realize how hard it is to raise kids, they're going to look back and go, how did my mom and my dad do it? How did my dad work so hard to give us a great life and put all these hours in, but still show up to my practices and still show up to jiu-jitsu and still show up for family movie night and still make these things special? Because at the end of the day, what are we doing it for?
Right. Because there's a lot of, I've seen it in my line of work. I'm sure you've seen it in your line of work, just in general. There are a lot of parents who are driven in their jobs and their careers, but they just aren't present in their home lives. So they built these big houses and shower their kids with all this crap, but they're not present.
Right.
And that's what I told Cole. I was like, I don't know, I guess it's with age, but I'm just like, my family's my everything, and we're at an age, we're not an age, but we're at a point now where we want more kids, right?
Sure.
Hopefully 2 more, hopefully twins. I've said that because I can keep saying it till it happens.
She's putting it out there. She's she's manifesting it.
But like I was telling him this before he got into real estate, and part of our conversation, we were talking about what we want for our future. If he was not in sync with me and my schedule and our lives and our jobs, what I've built my job, there's no way I could have shut off to be a mom for the first 3 months. With Kian, that was different because it was COVID. So naturally it was a little slower, although it started picking up. Like 2021 was crazy. But I sacrificed my business to raise him.
Sure.
And then it was easy for the baby years, easier. But then once he started to get like that, what was it, 2024, he was 3, when they're starting talking and doing all in their
personalities
way
coming
more
out.
involved.
Yeah.
And you have to be more involved.
Right.
I struggled with that with my job because I couldn't, because Cole was off coaching at that time, or then he was working corporate. I couldn't justify in my head to make more money and just keep my kid in daycare. You know what I mean? I never believed in dropping him off at daycare right when we wake up and picking him up right before dinner just to put him to bed. I hated that.
Yeah.
So I told Cole, I was like, now when we have another kid or kids, I can actually step aside for 3 months and really focus on raising that baby.
And he's handling the business,
running the business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like I sold a house the day I had Kian.
Yeah.
Because I had no job. I don't have maternity leave.
Right.
So it's just going to be very different, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, but it's setting yourself up. Like I said, it's setting your guys up for that next chapter. And you look at, the sacrifices that you and Cole made. It's a lot of sacrifice that a lot of families make, and a lot of families make it because of that necessity, right?
Yeah.
They make it because they have no choice but to make a living. And it's unfortunate that, we've come into a world that is so expensive to live, and cost of living is so expensive that you have to. So, like I said, some families aren't in the same position where you got to make the decision. Okay, my business is going to take a back seat because I want to raise my kid. Some people don't even have that luxury. They're like, I have to drop them off in the morning. I have to pick them up at night because I don't have the flexibility of my own business, or being a real estate agent, or being able to make my own schedule. They have to work an 8 to 5 just to pay the bill. So you chalk it up to a huge blessing, but you also see how strong you and Cole are, because you went through those things. And a lot of times you probably felt like you were a single mom on some of those, especially when you traveled. I remember you guys going through that process. And I remember how bad Cole felt. It wasn't like Cole had a choice. Cole was like, I'm trying to make a living for my family. We need to make X amount of money. We got to pay for daycare. We got to pay for these things. So what do we do? So you get kind of trapped. And then he's like, man, I'm putting this on my wife to do all the running around, all the errands, all the drop-offs, all the pickups, when he needs new clothes, when he's sick, she has to drop what she's doing because I can't leave my post, or I'm traveling. So what am I supposed to do? You're put in those situations. What ends up happening is it creates resentment. And no matter what anyone says, and if they say it doesn't, they're full of crap, because it does. It creates resentment because one side feels like they are doing all of the heavy lifting for the family, and the other person, even though they're contributing, they don't feel like they're giving the same contribution. Now you're in a position where you guys got through that. Your marriage got stronger. Your love got stronger for each other, for sure. You could tell that already. And you can just tell you're happier.
Yeah.
And, Cole worked for me.
Yeah.
So it's,
up.
yeah. So, and again, it was it was a hit to us.
Yeah.
But or for me personally, but I understood that this was better for him, better for your family. And you could just tell the reason why you're so emotional about this, Elena, and why you feel like it's such a great accomplishment. It's because it is a major accomplishment.
Yeah.
The money, the houses you've sold, the fact you're a top 1% realtor in your firm or in your company nationwide, all those things are fantastic. All those things are what you worked your ass off for all these years to achieve. But if you don't have the home right, I'm telling you right now, the sweetness of that fades.
Well, you can't die with. You don't die with your money. You die with your soulmate.
Yeah.
You meet your soulmate heaven.
Yeah. And you guys are just going to take it to the next level, which is so much more exciting. And what's going to happen is the money and the comfortability and the success and the things you guys will achieve and the things you'll be able to go do and the traveling, all those things are going to come automatically. But the heart, the soul is is all about the family. And Kian is seeing that, right? Kian is seeing, okay, this is what a family is supposed to be. This is how my dad and mom are supposed to be a unit. My mom and dad are together. They're in this together. So you're setting that example for your son, and he's going to see this wonderful, healthy marriage that's going to go through ups and downs, but you're still going to be together. And Kian's going to see, wow, my mom and dad had struggles. That doesn't mean they didn't argue, doesn't mean they didn't fight, doesn't mean they didn't have tough times. They just decided we're going to be in it together. No matter what gets thrown at us, we're in it together. And when they see all the other things that are around you come, what a better, there's no better example. What else? What kind of, that's the legacy. Like that, what else do you want to leave behind with that? So,
well, the legacy is the love and everything you instill in your children, right? And then they continue to do that. Most people think money is the legacy, and money will get burnt if you don't raise your kids the right way. The money will be burnt.
Correct.
And the money will be irrelevant.
Correct.
But most people don't realize that. They're like, I'm leaving you a $2 million inheritance. The kids don't know what the hell to do with that.
Correct. Yeah. And if their heart's not right, it's not going to matter. And that's one of the things that I tell my kids, and I beat it to them and probably too much, to be honest with you. And they probably get tired of me saying it, but I will always tell them, give more, take less. Give more, take less. That is my saying to them all the time, because when you have those blessings, the way you should be looking at those blessings is how much more you can give, whether it be advice, whether it be time, whether it be money, whether it be whatever. It doesn't always have to be monetarily. Give your time, go donate, go be there for somebody, go help somebody in need.
Don't do something to get something in return.
No, do it. And I'm telling you right now, it's literally the most selfish thing you can do, because you're going to feel so good knowing that you help somebody, and you help somebody with nothing in return. There's no better way, in my opinion, and do it for no accolades. Don't tell anybody about it. I don't want anyone to know the things that Allison and I do, because I don't do it for that. We do it because our heart is in the right place, because we know we are in a position where we can actually help somebody that needs help. That's, to me, so much more rewarding, for sure. So, but I love the fact you guys are that to you, have the year you've had. That's your greatest accomplishment. So that warms my heart. Truly.
Yeah, because I feel it and I get emotional, because it literally has been a battle with me and him trying to find the same ground, like common ground. And it's not like we've just been constantly fighting for 12 years. We've been great, but there's times, like, as we started to grow our family, it just fell off balance, because when you don't have kids, things are just more free, right? And then when you have kids, obviously you start tallying things up a little bit more. I'm doing this and you're doing that, but I did this, you didn't do that, right? And it got to a point where, yes, I did feel like a single mom, and not that he just was neglecting of me, but just with his job and coaching club and coaching college and traveling, like, he just couldn't be there, and I was like, I don't care about all that stuff. I just want to have memories with our family.
How did you guys get through that stuff? I mean, at the end of the day, you obviously had to find some sort of common ground or solutions, even though it wasn't where you wanted to be. You guys weren't as happy as you are today. You obviously, 12 years together, you guys have had to navigate through some of those things. How do you think, because there's a lot of people out there listening to us that are probably in a very similar situation to where you're in now, either it's the male or the female, one or the other. How did you guys get through that? How did you guys
not end a divorce?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I started personal therapy in 2019. So that has been a huge deal for me, because, most people think you want to point the finger at your spouse, but you actually have to point it back at yourself too. Because I think the main thing, and I got emotional, because the more Cole and I have gone through such hard years, and now we're like seeing the light at the tunnel. I think people don't realize how much you actually don't know about your spouse.
Right.
Does that make sense? And I feel like I've gone to know Cole so much more through my own self-reflection, that I am more empathetic to why he does things the way he does, or why he says things the way he does. And it's been years of us trying to figure out how to be one. Because he and I grew up opposites. Obviously, I am more driven than he is, and he's very more calm and relaxed.
He is. Yeah.
So it's been a lot of just figuring out how to bring those together.
Where's the balance? Yeah. You finding the balance. Yeah.
But a lot of through that was me pointing at him like, you're in fault, you're in fault. And it was till I reflected on myself. I was like, I bring a lot of that animosity too, you know? So the therapies definitely helped. I know some people might not be in this position, but the more my business grew, I was able to get him away from coaching as many teams, you know, because at first he was coaching, I think it was like 3 club teams at one time and college. And so he was just always gone. So when my income got to a certain level, I was like, I'll sell 3 or 4 more houses a year just so you don't have to coach another team.
Right.
You know, so that started to balance out more. So he had more time. But it was just a lot of just having faith and like, we are in this together.
Yeah.
We are in, what is our goal?
Yeah.
You know,
and you got to figure it out, and you got to figure it out together. I love the comment you made about just learning more about your spouse. And, you know, I think one of the things that Allison and I have learned over 20-year marriage, you know, going on 23 years together, how much stronger we are. And every year it seems like we get stronger because of what you just said. Is we realized I married her for multiple reasons. And you sometimes get into a marriage, I think, to think I can change the person over time. And you recognize you're never going to change that person. That person's core values and what they believe in and what their personality is who they are. So instead of knocking them for not being the way you are, or looking at things the way you do, or doing the things that the way you would want them done, it doesn't make it wrong, right, or indifferent. It just makes it their own and your own. But then you come together, go to what you just said, learning more about being more empathetic. I know how my wife is. I know what makes my wife tick. I know what aggravates her. I know what gets under her skin, and those things don't bother me a lot of times. But how I'm like, okay, I understand why it does. I disagree sometimes with it, but I also understand that's just who she is.
But I think the main thing that people lack to understand is the pains that we each carry from childhood through now.
Yeah.
Because there's stuff I've never opened up with Cole before until the last couple of years that we've been getting closer. And not that I've had like a bad childhood, but just things that shaped me to why I am the way I am.
Yeah.
You know, and it's that pain that we never dig deep enough to say, you can trust me with that pain. Because as children, we block things off and we internalize it. And that is why a lot of adults are so messed up, because we don't have anybody to outlet, you know?
Yeah. And for men, you know, for men, it's even harder, you know, to be vulnerable and to let go sometimes. Right. I think because just our nature is we're the men, and we got to take it on, and we take it on for our families. And at the end of the day, let's just be honest, call a spade a spade. Most people don't care. Most people don't care what a man may be going through. They don't care about the burdens or the stress that they're carrying. They don't care about the pain they might be in physically and mentally. They don't care because they look at it. You're the man. That's your job. That's your responsibility. But they're still human. And I fight with those things as well. And I fight. I keep a lot of stuff bottled in. Not so much because I'm afraid to have those conversations with Allison. I just look at it as that's my role, right? And we've gotten sometimes so far away from recognizing the roles that, you know, we're not our true self. And I think when, you know, what really opened up my eyes to my wife is when I had to be vulnerable, when I got hurt, you know, a couple of years ago, really badly. And, you know, she had to literally take care of me like I was a toddler. That puts you in a really vulnerable spot. And it also, you have no choice. So, you know, I was forced to give 100% trust and to do things I was completely uncomfortable with. And like I said, she had to literally, I couldn't eat. I couldn't hold a fork. I couldn't use the restroom on my own. I couldn't, all these type of things that she had to guide me through, that you hope that, okay, this is not going to be something that drives her. And all it did was make the relationship stronger. So, you know, again, you look at everything you just said, when you look at Elena and her the last couple of years and this upward spike that you've been on and it continuing to grow, the business exploding, buying another home, continuing to invest, being able to, well, let's be honest, retire Cole to your business. At the end of the day, he's starting over, right? So you were in a position to allow him to make this move for your family knowing you are still going to have to carry the financial burden short term. Cole's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Cole's going to figure it out. I think Cole's going to be successful. Cole's got you to lean on. You're in it together, which is going to make it that much stronger. So he'll eventually get there, but it's going to take time. So you were in that position. And again, your best accomplishment was none of those things. That's so impactful. I think that people need to listen to that message because they just we get so wrapped up in the wrong focus and we're so focused on where we are monetarily. And it's easy, guys. I've been there. Yolena's been there. And it's easy, and again, people might look at it like, oh, it's easy for you to say because you're already on the path where you need to be. You don't have to be as concerned financially. Yeah, but I was concerned for a long time.
Yeah.
There was a lot of years where me and Allison were like, what are we doing? Was moving to Texas the right call? Was this career the right choice?
Yeah.
Should we get to the fork in the road and we went the wrong path?
Yeah.
Those are you call into question a lot of things. Am I the right leader? Am I in the right position? Is this the right job for me? Am I a good enough husband? Am I a good enough father? You question a lot of different things. And I'm just telling you, when the mindset shifted from all of that to gratefulness, counting our blessings, living within our means, being grateful for our friends and family that were in our corner and around us, church, supporting ourselves with people that cared, those type of, going all in on our kids, being there, whether it be the PTA or, again, a lot of times we can donate time. We didn't have the money to give to the schools, but we can give our time, right? We were painting stuff at the schools. We were helping teachers with their fundraising. We were, going to all the PTA meetings. We were doing the parades. Last night I was helping a buddy of mine build his trailer for his kids' Cub Scouts because they're in the trailer. Okay. But again, we're out there till 11:30 last night. And he's one of those dads. We're out in his driveway at 11:30 in 40-degree weather here in Texas, building a trailer because he wants to make this special for these Cub Scouts. It's gonna be a cool trailer when it's done. But we're doing that last night till 11:30 while most guys are already in bed or watching TV,
or it's too cold out.
Correct.
Hire somebody.
Right. And we're out there doing it. And he's like, my son's gonna know that his dad was the one that did it. And he's going to know that I got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to get 4 or 5 hours of sleep tonight. But by God, we're getting this trailer built. It's those type of things that are so much more impactful and so much better. So kudos to you for having that mentality.
But I think a lot it's been, once again, we go back to like who you surround yourself with, right? And you and Allison, I've said it before, have been a huge blessing in our lives because although she doesn't work, you guys work together. Does that make sense? Because you guys are so in sync. I think your family, your family is so fruitful because of that. Because the mom and dad are in sync.
Yes.
And I've always told Cole, I was like, I want our family to just be one.
Yes.
Just one.
Yes.
And I will choose my family day in and day out, whatever, over any stupid award. For real estate. Because like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not dying with my awards or my money.
Correct. What did Denzel Washington say? You don't see a hearse behind there's no U-Haul behind a hearse.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, you got to have it to live. You want to be successful. And again, guys, me and Ellen are as driven as anybody. Trust me. I always want more. I'm always trying to achieve more. I always want to move up the ladder with my job. I always want to make more income. I want to make more money. But it's not because I could say I have more money in my bank account. It's so that I could say I just know I'm capable of more. So for me, it's more about, I know that I can achieve more because I'm capable of more. And when I look at this snapshot of my life, I want to say I left it all on the field. I did everything I possibly could. I gave everything I had to give. I didn't leave anything on the table. That to me, I can live with whatever the result ended up being. So that's where we're at. So,
well, you said you want to do this episode on what we've achieved this year, but we did it different direction, which I think was a better topic, honestly.
Yeah. Well, you achieved that. As far as me, hers was a lot greater achievement.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, no. Overall, the family stuff is always there. That's always going to be my driving factor. But I think for me, I learned a lot more patience this year, and I'm not where I need to be at all. But I've come a long way, and I'm a very impatient person. And for me to say I've really learned a lot of patience, guys, I don't think you understand what a actual achievement that is.
On here.
Well, and I think she would agree. I got 2 teenage kids. They drive me crazy in a lot of ways. I'm trying to be more patient with them and putting myself back in their shoes. I'm trying to remember what it was like to be a teenager. I'm having to be very patient with my employees and my staff because they're so new and they're so green. I'm really trying to hone in on putting myself in other people's shoes and as much as I possibly can. And I think for me, I've had to learn a lot about myself, and I've just had to realize that some things aren't going to come as fast as I want them to. And usually, I achieve things pretty fast, and I achieve things faster than most people.
Mm-hmm.
And over the last couple of years, I haven't seen that same level on paper,
Mm-hmm.
but I do believe that I'm doing a lot of the right things today that are going to set myself up.
It's not coming.
Correct. And I think it's going to come. And I think when it comes, it's going to come. I'm going to make up a lot of ground fast.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my greatest accomplishment this year has just been patience. I think,
learning a new version of you.
Yeah. And nowhere where I need to be.
A new version of
you.
Always
working on me, guys. Always working on me.
But maybe that was one piece you were missing to take you to the next level, and God forced you into that role.
I think so. Absolutely. And I think part of it's just getting older too, right? I mean, it's just the more you mature and it's also the willingness to realize that you need to work on yourself. Like you talked about earlier when you looked at your and Cole's relationship, years ago, it was so easy to point the finger. And I think that most of the people listening can relate to this, is that it's so easy to point the finger at other people of why you're not where you want to be. There's very little of what could I be doing differently? Mm-hmm. What could I have done differently in this situation? How could I have made that relationship stronger? Well, how could I have given more time to this person or persons to change this scenario? What else could I have done differently? And I think when you start to really take a deep dive into that, you realize there's a lot of things you could have done differently. The way I worded things, the way how I said things to certain people, how I came across, how I would snap, and I still do. And again, nowhere where I need to be, but is it progress? And we talked about this a couple episodes ago as well, as I'm really starting to lean into, but thankfully because of great mentorship, the James, my GM, Jason, my VP, my coworkers that have come up with me in the company have really been big cheerleaders for me because they believe in me. They know what I'm capable of. I've been with them for a long time. These guys have known me for 20 plus years. And, these guys have just told me, Ryan, are you better off? Is the business better than it was a year ago?
Yeah.
Yes. The answer is 100% yes. Okay. Well, that's progress. That's a success, even though it doesn't look like it on paper because it's not the success of what you envision. It's not where it can be. It's still better than the year before.
But not just the business, Ryan. Are you better than you were a year
100%.
ago? So that's all that matters.
That's it. And like I said, I'm a better husband. I believe that. I'm a better father to my kids. I believe that. I'm a better friend. I believe that.
I've only known good friend Ryan.
So, and I believe that I've gotten better as a person over these 12 months, and I think that's just a good way to kind of to wrap this episode up. Is we want you guys to reflect. We want Elena and I. We talked about the things for us, but I really want you guys to look at this last 12 months, this body of work, January through December of 2025, and you look and go, where am I as a person? Am I a better mother? Am I a better father? Am I a better coworker? Am I a better son? Am I a better daughter?
Husband, wife?
A better person, a better employee, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
Am I, did I save more money? Did I go on an extra vacation this year that I was able to do? All those things. And I think you'll be super proud of yourself of what you've actually accomplished. And at the end of the year, if you feel like you didn't accomplish much, that's when you should take a hard look in the mirror and go, okay, 2026 is around the corner. Now's a new time to reset. The rearview mirror is a lot smaller than the windshield for a reason. I think it's a Jelly Roll quote, which I love, by the way. Amber, we should put that on Monday's quotes. The rearview mirror is smaller for a reason, or smaller than the windshield for a reason. So you're looking forward, right? Is what are you guys going into next year trying to accomplish? And what is success to you, and it may not
But
be a money thing.
I'm gonna do a side note though. If you reflect on this year and you feel like you accomplished nothing, then you should use that as motivation to be better for next year. And don't take that as a hard dig on yourself.
No,
Don't tear yourself down because of it. Don't think you're not capable of more, because everybody's capable of more. And I
absolutely.
think that would be the time where you need to do more self reflection. Get yourself in therapy, shed those bad friends who are nothing but negative in your life, and literally decide, do you want to continue to be the same? Or do you want to grow and do something with your life? And if that you want to do number two, you got to put the work in.
Absolutely, great advice. And you know, again, don't life is too short.
Yeah.
And you know, I one of my big things I've said a million times is don't live the same day for 75 years and call it a life. And if you feel like you did that this year, just realize tomorrow's not promised, and you don't want to have regret at the end of your life.
Hmm.
You want to live life to its fullest because it is the greatest gift that any of us could ever have. Just being on earth and being born and being alive, especially in the era that we live in. I mean, you think
Hmm.
about how spoiled we are in the area that we live in. Guys, hone in on that, but take advantage of it.
Right.
Take advantage of it. Don't waste it. So, anyway, we hope
This is a good one.
Yeah, I hope this episode resonated with you guys. Thought it was a great thing just to wrap up for the end of the year, and to just remind ourselves that we have accomplished a lot, and I'm sure you guys have too. And it doesn't always mean what's in your bank account. It
Yeah.
can also mean about just all
What's
these
in your
different things.
heart?
What's in your heart? Because look at Elena. Her heart grew bigger this year.
I
She was the
did.
Grinch. She was the Grinch. And then before we got on this thing, I got her in the Christmas spirit. Now she's going to
He even
Hobby
got me to
Lobby at
tear
the
up
end of
on
this.
this episode.
She shopped. She didn't tear up. I was trying, guys. One of these days, I'm gonna get Elena to shed a tear. This hardcore shell of a person that I co-host with. She's gonna share. I could see him kind of. She had to roll it back. She had to roll it
I
back
was like,
because
get it together, Elena.
yeah, she wasn't going to do it. But guys, thank you again for the continued support.
Yeah.
For everyone that continues to text us, reach out to us. It really means the world to us.
Right.
I know we're a very small group today, but
we won't quit.
We're not going to quit, and we're going to keep growing. So
See you next time.
Take care. See ya.